Good morning, boys and girls. It's time for a little more Love That Dog and our poetry unit. So, we know that in this book, Miss Stretchberry keeps sharing poems with her students. And Jack, a very reluctant writer, not too big about poetry, we're getting to see his reactions to them and also getting to see a bit of what he writes. Hopefully, you'll see his transformation. Today, our poem is titled Dog, and it's by Valerie Worth. And remember what I was telling you about poetry. It doesn't have to follow the regular grammar rules. So you don't have to have sentences. It's not written in a paragraph. If you look at this poem, it's not written in stanzas. You just have one stanza, and it's line after line after line. It's not broken up into those smaller chunks. So here we go. Dog. Under a maple tree, the dog lies down, lolls his limp tongue, yawns, rests his long chin carefully between front paws, looks up, alert, chops with heavy jaws at a slow fly, blinks, rolls on his side, sighs, closes his eyes, sleeps all afternoon in his loose skin. Could you picture the dog in this one? As I hear this poem, I kind of think of somebody maybe sitting in their backyard or at a park, watching their dog after they've been playing with their dog, and the dog just decides to lie down and kind of roll around the way dogs do, and maybe try to catch a little fly or bee. I know some dogs like to eat bees, of all things. And then they like to, lay down. Some dogs like to cross their little paws and, who knows. But this author right here is just capturing a moment, just describing their pet. Simple, not much to it. All right. Well, let's see how Jack reacts to this one. After all, last time, he didn't want to have to, write about a pet. November 29th. I like those small poems we read today. When they're small like that, you can read a whole bunch in a short time. And then in your head are all the pictures of all the small things from all the small poems. I like how the kitten leaped in the cat poem, and how you could see the long head of the horse in the horse poem. And I especially liked the dog poem. Because I especially like the dog in the dog poem, because that's how my yellow dog used to lie down, with his tongue all limp and his chin between his paws, and how he'd sometimes chomp at a fly and then sleep in his loose skin, just like that poet Miss Valerie Worth says in her small dog poem. December 4th. Why do you want to type up what I wrote about reading the small poems? It's not a poem. Is it? I guess you can put it on the board if you want to, but don't put my name on it, in case other people think it's not a poem. His teacher keeps wanting to put his stuff on the board. Typically, if your teacher wants to display your stuff, what does that say about your work? Usually that's a good thing, right? So here, his teacher keeps wanting to put his stuff up on a bulletin board. She likes what he's writing. And doesn't it seem somewhat like a poem? Even though it's just his journal to her. December 13th. I guess it does look like a poem when you see it typed up like that. But I think maybe it would look better if there was more space between the lines, like how I wrote it the first time. And I like the picture of the yellow dog you put beside it. But that's not how my yellow dog looked. What do we now know about Jack from reading this? We know his pet was a yellow dog. Not just any dog, but a yellow dog. When I think of yellow dogs, I think maybe like a yellow lab or something like that. Maybe a golden retriever. So we know that he had a dog, and it was a yellow dog. And by reading these poems, he's starting to make that connection to that piece. We still don't know what happened to his dog. We know he doesn't have it anymore. So we'll have to see what happens there. But his writing is getting a little better, and he's writing more. Have you noticed that? So hopefully as we go through with our poems, you'll find yourself writing more too. So let's switch gears from the book and over to today's assignment. Today, when you get into our assignment, you'll see it's day 4, And I will have, you'll be watching this video that I made. But today we're going to be doing similes. And we've talked about similes before in our benchmark unit. It was the first kind of figurative language that we actually learned about this year. And you'll remember similes use like and as to compare two things that you wouldn't normally compare. Like when we were reading Island of the Blue Dolphins, there was a line that said Rama was as quick as a cricket. Okay? It doesn't mean that Ramo is a cricket, but you're comparing Ramo to a cricket. And if you think about how, quickly a cricket can move, that's what she was saying about her brother. So there's some little samples here on the page for you. And they even remind you that similes are used to compare two things that are different in most ways, but are the same in one important way. The words like and as are used to compare the two things. Authors use similes to make their writing more interesting and descriptive. So we have Lucy sings like a bird. Notice they're comparing Lucy to the bird, right? And it's her singing. And most birds sing really nicely, so hopefully that's a compliment to her. Sam's raincoat was as yellow as a lemon. We're comparing a raincoat to a lemon. So if you can kind of picture the color of a lemon in your mind, gives you an idea of what color that raincoat was. Simile is used very frequently in writing and a lot in poetry too, because it helps us to imagine colors and actions, sizes, all those kinds of things that someone wants to describe so we can picture something in our minds. Your job today has two parts to it. Part A, you're going to read each of these similes, okay? Then you're going to write the two words that are being compared in the blanks. So you'll notice they did the first one for you. Maria was as graceful as a swan. What's being compared? Maria to the swan. Okay? So you're just going to type into these little boxes the things that are being compared. On part B, it says complete each simile with a word from the box. So you see this little box over here. We've got thunder, marshmallows, turtle, boats, coal, ice cream, and a sun. So number one, the dog was as black as, which one of these things would be dark black? You'll take that word, type it in the box. All right, boys and girls, and that's all there is today for our writing. Look forward to seeing how you do. Bye.